Hi, everybody. I am Eureka, and I will be teaching you on your module 1. So this is just a short little video to just give you some feedback on your test, the mediated learning test that I have marked, so that you can have a bit of a more understanding of how I have marked this to get to the marks that I've given to you. Okay, so basically you have done quite well in your short questions. And so I'm just going to quickly share your study guide with you. And then here you will see what basically some of the things that I would just want to to point out, or for you just to take note of. And these things are, for instance, if we have a look at the outcome-based education approach, I'm quite aware that most of you do understand what it is, because this is what we are actually learning in all our schools. But if you have to study this for a long question, these are some of the good headings to start off as. Okay, so you can study these as headings, and then make sure you understand what this is all about. So when you say something for a mark, say for instance subjects and learning, make sure that you elaborate on this. Okay, so what do you mean when you say subject and learning? Okay, with referring to, say for instance, the teachers in the OBE needs to plan their lessons, and then also share their teaching resources. And obviously we do all understand that this is theoretically, it's not always practically the case. And then this is also important to know that the stakeholders involved in OBE is all of these people. Okay, it's the teachers, the parents, the caregivers, and the learners. Okay, and then you'll go on. You can use all of these headings as a mark for the discussion of your 15 mark long question. So make sure you also see the requirements for outcome-based educators um, as a point. Okay, I have also given about 7, not more than 5 to 6 marks, mostly maximum 7 for all of these, because I wanted you to focus on the fact that you know what OBE is, and what is the approach on that, and what is actually expected of the teacher. Okay, so if we move on to another one that has been a struggle to some, I'm just going to open this up quickly. And this is basically the theory of Piaget and Vygotsky and Bruner. So basically, the two things that maybe can confuse you is, on the one hand, you've got your behaviorist theory, like for instance, you have what we obviously know as Vygotsky and Piaget, but then specifically we've got here on page 13, you will see there that they speak about Skinner, and then later on they also talk about how he has used his argument that learning happens through a process of reinforcement. Again, there was a question that might be confusing, because you focus on the work of behaviorism. And then if you look at Vygotsky, which is later on, you will also see that Vygotsky focuses on socialization, and then also um, he basically said that we are looking at younger children. The younger children are looking and modeling the language, so they are actually looking at the behavior of the older teacher or parent or guiding. And this is the difference. So Vygotsky was focused on modeling, whereas Skinner was more focused on behavior as such, to say that if somebody is taught a certain behavior over time, then he or she will then be able to do that. So there was just a a little bit of a confusion between Pandura for the for the short questions. So just make sure that you do understand the difference between those two. And then the last one I just want to touch base on is basically these ones, which is the fine motor skills. Now, some of you gave answers like drawing and painting, which is not in essence wrong. But when we look at fine motor skills, you must remember that these are the kinds of learning activities that will, for instance, you will give an activity that will manipulate the action of small objects. Okay, so when you do give these activities and in an examination, remember this is very theoretical. You're not there to explain yourself, you're just there to write things down. Rather say a little bit more in detail than a little bit less. Okay, so say something like the use of tools. Okay, so if you use something like gardening, I know some of you said gardening, tell me or tell the examiner the use of tools, like for instance, planting and using tools to garden. Okay, puzzles are quite self-explanatory, but then things like painting and drawing, which is also a skill, it's not called specifically here as a point in your notes, but you would see I would only give a mark, a 1 mark for either painting or drawing. Okay. Because at the one end it is very similar, but at the other end, I also want you to understand why is it a fine motor skill. I don't want you just to give me the answer and not understand the method behind what you are saying. So if we say drawing or painting, it's more that the child can actually hold a pen or a brush and be able to paint within the lines or within the pattern. Doesn't necessarily have to be neat. Obviously, when you've got preschoolers or they're much younger, it wouldn't be perfect, but it's that coordination of you can hold your pen and your brush and it can be done in a specific area. And then cooking also obviously had to do with the fact that you're using different utensils and tools and they can hold it and they can stir it and then this is also a very important one is daily routines, brushing your teeth, washing your hands. I just wanted you to be a bit more specific than just saying tearing. Tearing a piece of paper, yes, but also pasting it to another one. Okay, so later on I will have a little bit more in-depth conversation on the whole module, but for now this is just giving you some feedback. Please don't hesitate to pop me an email and just ask any questions you might have. Thank you.